is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today I have a very special treat for you. I'm here in the middle of a big city, and this is like cars whizzing by. We're here in South Florida, Pompano Beach, Florida. Very happy to say I'm at one of the coolest stores that I've ever been to in my life. This is called the Urban Farmer, and the purpose of the Urban Farmer is to teach people like you guys to grow your food, much like a mission like I have. So they're here to show you what is possible here in South Florida. And if you live in South Florida, you have to visit this place, not only for just the demonstration garden that you could take a look at, but they sell the systems, soil systems, or growing in soil, hydroponic systems. They also have a CSA where they sell food. They produce tons of food here in this industrial area. It's not even a farming area, it's this industrial area here in Broward County. So today I'm gonna get to show you guys around, and you guys can see what they're doing, learn from it, and do that too, so that you guys could grow more food in your backyard and be healthier. So next we're gonna go into the back and show you what they're doing. They have a small office over to the right there, and then in the back is where they grow everything. Not only do they sell you all the tools you need to grow food here in South Florida, but they also give you classes. And actually one of the classes even includes a grow box. So it's excellent deal. So let's come on back and check it out. So this is an example of the hydroponic system that they're actually using to grow a lot of food more in the back, but they also sell this system so that you can bring this home and grow in your own backyard. So this is a really cool system. They basically have multiple levels, and you can add on to this system. So in this demonstration system, they're growing things like lettuce and basically 4 heads per container. And then down at the bottom here, they have broccoli, even has some florets on there. Over here, they have some tomatoes, some chard peppers. Look at all these peppers. I mean, that's some densely planted peppers, and growing really good, yielding really nicely. Here's some eggplant. I think this is some Japanese eggplant they got going. Of course, you can grow herbs, things like basil and oregano, and more chard, and here's even some parsley they've been cutting back. So you could definitely grow a lot of things in your backyard with this system. And let's show you next door how this system actually works. So this is the main hydroponic system that they use here to grow all the food, and also that they offer to you, and you could grow in your backyard and beyond. So how it works, very simple. You have a barrel and a container. This container basically has the water, so you can see there's some water in here, and also what's in there is a pump. So at pre-timed intervals, the pump comes on, the water comes up into this tube, and the water comes down these smaller tubes, and then they basically drip into the top pot. And you can plant a couple things in this top pot, and then you could also plant, 4 things in this pot. The water then continues down, gravity takes it down naturally, and once again in this next pot, there's 4 more spots that you could plant in. Down to the next pot, 4 more spots, once again 4 more spots, and finally the water drips into this bottom pot, which you could have planted out and grow more things. So we're going to show you in a minute some examples of them actually using it. One of the nice things about this is that now you could have easily like 20 plants, 24 plants, 20 to 24 plants in here to grow in the same space that you would be able to grow, just 1 or 2 or 3 plants in this much, space if you were actually planting in the ground. So you basically maximize the use of your space by growing vertically. And this system only has 4, but you could go as much as like 8 or even 12, I heard, if you have like a greenhouse to grow in. So really good to grow vertically. The other thing that's really nice about this system is you don't have to bend over except for maybe the bottom pot, because they are pretty high. And the other great thing is that you could actually rotate these pots so that you don't need to walk around the whole crop. You just turn it so that they come to you. So next, let's show you an easier system that's not quite as advanced as this. That's a much smaller system, to grow in if you don't have a whole lot of space. So we just got done looking at the VG16 system, and that's the one with the pump, you need a big barrel to, have the water. This one's more of a self-contained unit, much smaller. That being said, the other unit's definitely more cost-effective. These ones a little bit expensive, but they're good if you don't have any room. This has basically a pot in the bottom that holds all the water, and then you have basically 4 pots up on this, and there's a pump in there that feeds the water up to the top. So for example, in this one they're growing things like lettuce, some herbs, callaloo or amaranth, and also some collard greens. So a much smaller system. That's another hydroponic system if you want to grow hydroponically. And then next door, they have an earth box. So I have used earth boxes, and this is basically a soil-based system if you want to grow in the earth and basically have soil in there. They have some tomatoes planted in this, and the earth boxes are fully expandable, and you can get little trellises for them. So in my experience, the earth box works very well for, for what it is. Can be a little bit expensive. I would rather just, get some containers, fill them up with some good soil and compost and some good nutrients. And I've done trials where I tested earth box versus non-earth box, and I didn't really see a major advantage growing in the earth box personally. But that being said, for people new into gardening, earth box is basically a surefire way that you will be successful. So definitely good that they're supporting and teaching people about the earth box. And actually they have an earth box class where you go to the class, you learn about how to grow in the earth box, and actually you also walk away with your earth box. So that's actually an excellent class that they provide here. Next, we're going to go to another area, and actually this is called the brown field. And this was an industrial area that probably did some kind of industrial stuff, and the ground is contaminated. So even in a contaminated area, you can still grow some food, and we're going to show you how they do that. So we're here in the contaminated area of the farm, and you just can't grow in this contaminated soil, because if you grow in contaminated soil, you're going to have contaminated crops, and you definitely don't want that. So they have a nice pathway here where you could walk by all the different basically trees that are grown, but you could easily also grow vegetables in these grow bags. So they're growing in these grow bags, and this grow bag is actually a special kind of grow bag called a jackpot. This jackpot is made out of a special material. It's very durable, probably more durable than just the standard plastic bags. And they're growing some banana plants in here to grow bananas, and there has been a cold spell here in Florida, and one of the advantages of being in this area is that there's a wall on this side and there's a wall on the other side, so it helps to keep this area a little bit warmer, getting some good sun. And this is a 60-gallon jackpot grow bag they're growing in, and they have other bags with guavas. So they're even growing vegetables in these jackpot grow bags on the other side of the farm, and we're going to be sure to check those out. But definitely, if you have contaminated soil, or even if you don't, if you're renting a space, have a patio that you don't want to plant in the ground in, basically having a grow bag like a jackpot, definitely a great way to grow your food, because you know what? When you move, you can just literally pick this up with a couple guys and take it with you. So definitely that's the way to go to grow in containers. Let's come down to the main section of the farm and show you how they're growing hydroponically and growing vertically a lot of food that's going to basically feed their CSA. So now we're at the back lot of the urban farmer, and you can see, I'm literally standing on what this space or this land or the property used to look like. It's basically just kind of like cement and just rubble, and you can even see in the background, this is an industrial area in the background. There's just big old like riprap concrete piles in the back of this property, and this is what it used to look like. And you could transform this space easily, in any space in your backyard, whether you got weeds growing back there or not. All you got to do, very simple, you're just going to take some landscape fabric like this, which is permeable, which lets the water flow through down, and basically tack it down, and then you just basically put your hydroponic setup in, or even grow bags. So now we're going to go through and show you some of the things they're growing in their hydroponic system and also in the grow bags. So they're growing in two different ways here at the urban farmer. The first way is, once again, in the grow bags. So now they have a grow bags in here, and it's basically on a drip line, so it's all getting watered. They have cherry tomatoes, looks like some sun golds, and here they are right here. Best tomato I've had all trip out here to Florida. They basically have these on trellised up on a bamboo stake onto a trellis. A nice, this must be at least a 50-foot row. And there are advantages and disadvantages to growing in soil and in hydroponics. So you got to find out which is going to work best for you. The first thing is the cost. The hydroponic setup basically costs a lot of money to get going. The grow bag is relatively inexpensive. Fill it with some soil and you can start growing. And next, let's go over and look at the hydroponic setup. So you could grow a lot of different crops hydroponically here in South Florida. And we're going to take you through just some of the things they're growing in this hydroponic system. So here we have some beans, and they have a whole row of beans. I mean, these rows are probably like at least 50 feet long, lots of beans growing. And what do they do with all this food? Well, they have a CSA, or community supported agriculture. So, you know, you could start up something like this in your backyard and feed all your neighbors, and they could pay you for it. So here's another lettuce tower, and they have lettuce in all different stages of growth. And they probably had just harvested all this lettuce and planted a little while ago. And while this was basically being harvested and pulled, on each of these levels there's 4 lettuces. Down at the bottom, they've been letting this cauliflower grow for a while. And you can see here, this cauliflower has a nice little cauliflower in the middle. Looks really good. Now they have 3 cauliflowers in one 3-gallon pot. That's a little bit tight to me. Maybe they'd make bigger heads. And the other thing is, they haven't been harvesting their cauliflower leaves. Now these cauliflower leaves, many people don't know this, these are actually edible. You could use them just like a collards or a kale, and they're absolutely delicious. So here's yet another crop they're growing in the hydroponics tower. They're growing broccoli, so once again, 4 broccoli plants per level. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 broccoli plants in this small area. Now if I was growing this in a raised bed, I would plant the broccolis approximately like 1 foot apart, because when they grow up, they need some space. So you're saving an immense amount of space by growing in the system. And here at the bottom, I like that they're growing some onions. So all the water basically drips out the top, all the way out to the bottom, and then it waters your onions. And you have some onions growing. So that's definitely delicious. So they're also growing bok choy in this vertigrow hydroponic system here. And you know, once again, 4 plants per level, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 bok choy plants. Well, bok choy plant a little bit closer than the broccolis, but still to plant, you know, 20 bok choys, it would take a good significant space. But once again, growing vertically, you're going to save space, be able to grow more food in the limited space that you may have. So especially if you live in a condo, patio, or townhouse, growing vertically is very critical. And then the way this system works, we're going to look at this. The water comes in this tube here, and it comes out of this smaller tube, and then basically just drips down into the top, and then once again it's distributed by gravity all the way down. And once again, this bottom pot here has some carrots growing. So you could grow a variety of foods in this vertigrow hydroponic system. So now we're going to take a look at the strawberries they're growing in the vertigrow hydroponic system. And they did have a problem with some frost or some cold weather here lately. But you could see they're growing lots of strawberries, and you could get a lot of yield, because once again, for every layer you have 4 plants. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 plants. Plus this down here, you got another 24 plants of strawberries, and they're going to yield a lot. Just take a look at this one right here. And one of the things I like about this setup is that you literally just spin it to win it. You can spin it to basically bring the strawberries to you when they're ready to harvest. So you don't actually have to walk around. And this one plant here, look at this one plant. I mean, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. Like 24 strawberries on one little plant. So times 24 times the 24 plants, and you know what? That's a lot of strawberries to eat. So if you get one of these systems, hope you can eat them all. So now we're looking at all their bell peppers that they're growing, and you know, once again, they could grow 4 pepper plants in each level, and they have 5 levels, so 4 times 5, that's 20 bell pepper plants. And each of these red bell pepper plants put out a lot of peppers. You can see here, I mean, this thing is loaded up to the gills with all these ripe peppers just ready to be harvested. And you know, for a minute I want to talk about, you know, you want to grow what is expensive to buy. I often say that in my other videos, and I have a couple videos on that point actually. Grow what you like to eat, and grow what would cost you a lot of money in the store to buy. So here in South Florida, produce prices, especially organic produce prices, are through the roof, way more expensive than in California. So if it makes sense to grow anywhere, it makes sense to grow here in South Florida. I mean, I was just at an organic farmer's market this morning in Hollywood, Florida, and you know, the pepper per pound were like, I don't know, $8.99 a pound, and some of the leafy greens, lettuce was like $3.99 a pound. And other leafy greens were up to $9.99 a pound. Now those prices are insane for me being from a California, and also the point from me growing my own food. But things like even like escarole that, you know, I walk by my garden so many times because I grow a lot of things, but sometimes I just don't like to eat escarole. But when I see escarole here in South Florida selling for $6.99 a pound, sure as heck I'm gonna go back to California and appreciate the escarole I'm growing, and I'm gonna eat it because I'm gonna say, man, this stuff is really valuable. And I want everybody out there that is already growing to know that what you are growing is super valuable, because it's probably worth more than even the stuff that you could buy at the organic market, because it's grown with your love, your hands, and the best, hopefully the best soil and nutrition that you could possibly put into it. So you're even gonna have a higher quality food than stuff you buy at the farmer's market, because you're also gonna be able to pick it fresh. I mean, if I want to pick one of these peppers now, we could pick it and eat it, and food that's fresh off the vine has the highest nutrition. So not only does it save you money, you're getting more nutrition, and it's gonna cost you less money, and it's just better for you and the planet. So grow your own, whether it's with a hydroponic system or in the grow bags or in raised beds, and be sure to check my other videos to learn about growing your own food. So now we're in another area where they're growing broccoli in the jackpots, or basically the grow bags. And they have several broccoli plants per jackpot, and you can see here's some broccoli that went unharvested, because it looks like they harvested most of their broccoli already. And it looks like they harvested all their broccoli. They basically cut them off, and you can see here where they cut the broccoli off, and hopefully they're gonna save these for all the broccoli greens. The greens are actually absolutely delicious and edible to eat, just like collards or kale. You could cook them up, or actually I prefer to eat them raw. Definitely they taste really delicious, and definitely the smaller leaves are always the best when you're harvesting any leaves to eat. So even in these jackpots, you could grow trees, and actually the man who invented this, Jack Miller, has a tree nursery where he grows a lot of his trees in his own creation, his jackpot. So what we have here are some Meyer lemon trees, and the Meyer lemons, you can see here, we have a nice huge lemon here, but they're in all different stages of production here in Florida right now. They're in the flower, they're in the ripe fruit, and they're also in the green fruit. And actually here's some young flowers, and man, lemon flowers and other citrus flowers smell so amazing. So now we're gonna talk about the earth boxes. So these earth boxes are something that pretty much anybody could grow in. I mean, this really takes all the guesswork out of growing, and even if you don't have green thumbs, you're almost guaranteed a green thumb with the earth box here at the Urban Farmer. So they are South Florida's largest retailer of the earth box, and you can see here in this earth box they have 6 plants growing. They have 4 lettuce heads and some bok choy growing, and you could grow things relatively close quarters in the earth box, because the soil and the nutrition in the earth box is definitely so good. Here's some different herbs like basil and rosemary and sage growing over in this earth box. Looks like they have some broccoli growing. You could grow peppers in an earth box, even tomatoes in an earth box too. And the thing I like about the Urban Farmer is that one of their missions is to educate people about growing their own food. And they have a class, if you just pay the money for the class, basically they'll teach you how to grow in the earth box, and then you even get to bring home an earth box that's ready to plant. And if you don't have any plants to plant in the earth box, they'll even sell you the plants. So whether you're buying a system from here or not, you could always come to the Urban Farmer to buy your plants. So here are all the plant starts that they started here at the Urban Farmer to use in their farm, but also to sell to people that are buying the earth boxes and some of the other systems they have here. Here's just one single flat, and basically in each flat there's different kinds of plants growing. They have tomatoes, actually, 1 plant per cell, and this is a lot of tomato plants, and they have really great prices here at present time. Some of the plants like that they start here are only $1 each. So this is the outdoor classroom here at the Urban Farmer. They teach you classes so that you can grow food at your home, even if you've never done it before. So I think education is a fundamental and very important role in basically allowing people to grow their own food, because you know what, we're just not taught this information in grade school, middle school, or even high school, and even in most colleges. And you know what, we all need to eat, so I think it's very important that you learn how to do this. So next we're going to talk to Jessica, the creator and president of the Urban Farmer, who created this space and this business to teach people about growing their own food. So my views and Jessica's views are alike in many respects, because we all believe that people need to start growing their own food. And so I have my YouTube videos. She has this great space in South Florida to do it. So let's go talk to Jessica next. So we're here with Jessica, and she's the co-founder of the Urban Farmer. And Jessica, why did you start the farm?
Well, I started this because I wanted to know where my daughter's food came from. And I knew if I truly wanted to know that it was safe and good for her, I'd have to grow it myself. And it started as a backyard project, and then it turned into a farm.
Wow, that's great. So do you have any other messages you'd like to share with my viewers?
Yes. I believe that local will save the world.
Local farming.
Local farming will save the world. By having local farms in a community, people will be getting things that are seasonal and fresher, so they'll be getting the nutrition that they need. We will help reduce the carbon footprint. We'll also help the economy by creating jobs, and it will increase the security for our country. We won't have to fight so much about oil, maybe, if we have less shipping back and forth. But also, the fact that we're importing so much food, we won't have to worry about food shortages if we become sustainable. And last, I really believe that like food brings a family together at a table, that a food source like a local farm will reunite the community, which is something that we have lost in today's society.
Wow, that's very powerful. So besides people growing their own food for themselves, you guys could start your own backyard farm and sell the surplus to your neighbors and community, and maybe start a community farmers market where people that grew the food could actually sell it and trade amongst themselves.
Yes.
Wonderful. So tell me, how can people reach you if they want to contact you, your website, your phone numbers and your address and everything?
Sure. Well, they can come to our website, theurbanfarmer.us, or call. Our phone number is 954-586-6686, and we're here to help. We want to help people succeed at becoming backyard farmers.
All right, and so I do too. I want to help you guys become backyard farmers. So once again, this is John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. We'll see you next time, and keep on growing.